make, in the environment that you're in. And as you go down that path, as you mentioned, you just kind of learn from your experiences. And like for me, it was like I wasn't really, you know, meant for that life either. I mean, I grew up with 10 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So I grew up with six sisters, and so I was trying to be this hard, tough guy on the street, but
Yeah.
I was really a softie inside, so I wasn't really about that life, believe me.
Yeah.
And growing up with six sisters, and in that environment was what developed kind of like the leadership qualities in me. Is I'm the oldest of the 10.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
uh, and being the oldest of with 10 siblings, I mean, naturally you're put in a leadership position as you're growing up. So
Right.
I have my brothers and sisters to thank for that.
Right. So what do you got going on right now? Like what's life like for you? So I know you're living in Vancouver now.
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver. I've been in Vancouver since 2007.
Oh wow.
And I've been in BC since 2002.
Okay.
So I've been out here for quite a while. I came out here originally just for work.
Okay.
So I was in Winnipeg. I was a door-to-door after I kind of veered off and went on the better path.
Okay.
Yeah. I started a company I started a job with a door-to-door sales company.
Okay.
And in the first month with the company, I won an all expense paid trip to Hawaii.
Wow.
And that was the first time that I got out of the vicinity perimeter of Winnipeg.
Mm.
And next thing you know, I'm on a beach in Honolulu.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that really kind of brought in my thinking, brought in my horizons, just sitting on the beach and kind of watching sunsets. And
Right.
and when I came back, the owner of that company closed down the company in Winnipeg, had moved out to Kelowna, BC.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just one of the people that he had asked to move out there with him. And he got me a place to stay. He really took care of my expenses for like 6 months, and I never turned back.
Hmm. So you're still in that organization then?
Nope. So today I'm in like telecommunications, and
Okay.
and I'm in sort of the technology. Last 10 years I spent in the technology space, primarily just in selling software.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in kind of like in the telecommunications industry, in the Internet of Things space.
So what do you do? I see that you do presentations and all that kind of stuff. Like what's that all about? Is that for you or?
Yeah. So I mean, it's essentially I'm in a director role, and working to help companies leverage what's called IoT or machine-to-machine technology, the Internet of Things. Are you familiar with any of those terms?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
No? Okay. So yeah, so
a lot of different things. So if you said it, I know it.
Yeah, so it's just some tech talk. I mean, to put it simply, IoT or the Internet of Things is really just a network of connected devices. It just means connecting one device to another device, and devices can communicate to each other without any human intervention. It can leverage artificial intelligence, machine learning, but connectivity is really the core of IoT, and it's actually been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
So it's not sort of a new term, but just over the years, just because of the proliferation of network connectivity, And just, you know, the evolution of the internet. It's now fueling more and more IoT, um, you know, in the mainstream, I guess, as you could say. So basically, you know, by probably the end of 2020, we're, you know, there's going to be more devices in the world connected to the internet than there are people
Yeah.
on the planet.
Well, I got two
Right.
screens. I got two screens going right now. So that's already double the people in this room.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm
Exactly.
recording this on Audacity, and I'm recording it on Zoom. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be, you know what I mean? So yeah, 100%. I agree. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
be natural. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of been, you know, my journey. I really enjoy what I do, and you know, I enjoy staying on kind of like the bleeding edge of technology.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't able to join this Facebook Live,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
but you know, we're on the cusp of like the fourth industrial revolution,
Yeah.
and you know, since if you look at the past 100 years, you know, since, you know, they've been developing like railroads, for example,
Right.
technology has just progressed and is just, you know, continued to progress so rapidly. So
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
we're
really,
more secure now with all of the technology that's out there, but it also scares the heck out of me, right?
yeah.
Like the other day I switched over internet providers and it just wasn't fast enough to
Hmm.
to have all the screens and everything open that I use. And
Right.
that day I couldn't podcast, and you know, for some people that would be their life, right? Like that I couldn't do my meetings, my online meetings. Like I had to go to one of my facilities just to be able to accommodate the speed. And
Hmm.
you know, it's a good time, but it's also a very scary time because it's just a matter of unplugging a cord and like half of your stuff is done.
Right.
Right? Like, what are you gonna do without the internet, people? Like, it would be nuts. So what's with all the books then? Why are you reading books? It seems like you're like, I don't know, how does the 5 a.m. club apply to your like to your organization or your industry?
Well, I think the reading books thing is something I picked up, you know, when I was in my teens. The first book that I ever picked up was was Sun Tzu, the Art of War, and I think I read that when I was like 13 years old.
Okay.
And basically the reason I read that book was just because of the street environment, right? That was honestly why I read it, right? Um, and um, and before that, I mean, I was reading books, but they weren't in the form of just a physical book in your hand.
Mm.
They were in forms of poetry that artists were writing that I was listening to in my headphones.
Right.
And so I actually absorbed a lot of like wisdom from like early 90s hip hop
Yeah.
as I was walking the street. So that had a big influence on me, uh, as well as I was kind of listening to that. And then, you know, the books were, I didn't read a whole lot of books in my teens, but I read a few here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I'd go to the library and stuff, and I'd actually be interested in just looking around and you know, and reading books while, you know, while I was in that environment, and you know, something just always kind of drew me in to reading books.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like my early 20s that I really started to read a lot. And one of the first books I read was Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich,
Mm-hmm.
which really had an impact on me early on. Um, and then, you know, in my 20s, I didn't really have any friends. Uh, I was working in the door-to-door sales business, and I just read a ton of books. Like I'm talking just hundreds of books, and that's all I did as I applied myself to sales, and I just worked to get better at my craft.
Right. Oh, I see.
I read because I love to read about, you know, anything and everything, and it's just become, a habit for me, I guess, to pick up, a book, and I literally spend hundreds of dollars every single month on books.
Okay.
And
So what do you do with those books? So that's that. How do we take this knowledge? What is it that? How are you applying a book? I don't read just to read. You know what I mean? Like I need a purpose behind it. So I'll read books that I feel are going to be able to either level up my life, or it's something that I'll be able to teach somebody, right? Because that's what masters are, right? We narrow, we shorten the learning curve for our students, right? And so anytime that I can narrow that anything that will teach me how to, I'll read that information, and then I will dissect it, and then I will put out what I feel is the most important information for our viewers or for our clients and that kind of stuff. So how does that apply to you? Because, you don't see the people that we see. So how are you taking that info, and what are you doing with it?
Well, I actually, I read just to read.
Okay.
And so there's not really like, knowledge is useless unless it's applied.
Yep.
But I literally read just to read because I love reading.
Yeah.
And there are principles and there are, a ton of things that I pick up from books and apply for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to sort of read just kind of from a personal development growth perspective, because I have a growth mindset, and I want to keep on growing, keep on learning.
Yeah.
But I just love it so much that I just buy a ton of books, and I read a massive amount of books, and so maybe I'm applying those that knowledge subconsciously in my life somehow. I must be.
Yeah.
But there's no really clear purpose for me when I read. I just read because I love the subject of leadership. I love the subject of success.
Right.
I love the subject of personal development and growth. I love technology. And I love stories, biographies and that sort of thing. So I just read everything.
Well, when you read a book, you're essentially surrounding yourself with that person, right? And they always say you're the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. I mean, you've got a ton of people where they're just feeding you with the information, right? And I don't know. I think I would challenge you, man. I think I would challenge you to take that information, right? That you've read way more books than me. And like, I'll take a book and I'll just immediately, I need to get it out there. Right. And so I think I would challenge you to either start podcasting or even just start writing, and just put it out there, maybe start a blog. You don't even have to do all of that. You can literally, you're already on Instagram. So there you go. The hard part about Instagram, I find, is finding a photo to match the words. So I don't really post much on Instagram because I don't take much photos, but I'll always post something on Facebook. Right. And, if nobody's listening, then nobody's listening. It's just a way for you to be out there, and just exactly like what all those poets did and what all those book writers did. They just put it on paper, man. Those guys weren't writers until they became writers. Right. So who knows, it could be some kind of inner calling, and you just put it out there. And if you the way I see it is, if I could connect, like you say, you follow me, and it's like, dude, I got other people that follow me. I was like Richie, you remember Richie? He's like, he's like, I watch your stuff all the time, bro. And I'm like, what? I bumped into a couple other buddies this weekend. I was out, we had a late night, and I haven't seen a lot of these guys. And they're like, yeah, I watch your stuff in the morning, man. It truly helps. And I'm like, you watch my stuff? Like, you're awake? And so, I would challenge you to put some of your stuff out there, man. Put pen to paper and be that next poet, right? You're in your 30s now. So, you still got another 30, 40 years, 50 years maybe. And, just imagine what you can accomplish if you just did that, put that out there. Cause I would love to read it. I'd love to see it, man, personally. I love to hear about people's journeys. I like to read books about guys I don't know. I like to read stuff about guys I do know. You know what I mean? Even if it's something small, I like to hear about people's journeys, because it's like, I know that guy. I can connect. All I have to do is hit that guy up on Facebook versus, if I try to get a hold of Tony Robbins, good luck. Right. Yeah. His stuff is super inspirational. He helps millions of people. But It's like, I can't talk to that guy, man. If I had an issue or if I, something that was up, it's like, well, yeah, I just saw that Anthony's just doing that. So it's like, let me message this guy, see if he can shorten that curve for me. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's my challenge, my brother.
I will. I'll take you. I'll take you up on that. I'll think about it more. But yeah, I love to read, and I wouldn't say that it's being book smart or anything. I think people take in information. We're in the age of information, right? So whether it's if it's reading a ton of books or listening to a ton of audiobooks or listening to podcasts or just having access to the internet, you have access to just an infinite amount of information, right? So people take in information different ways, but you're right. It's good to think about how you can apply yourself in that way. I think I'm applying it probably subconsciously, and it does make a profound impact in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just it's just not my main focus.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's a matter of like, you need that. Like for me to do these podcasts, I'm just now getting into the rhythm of it. So I've been doing it consistently probably for about 3 to 4 weeks now. And before that, I was doing it consistently, and then I got sick, and then I just stopped doing it, and I just lost motivation. It's like going to the gym, right? It's like, you're good with it. And like, if it's something that you're not super dialed into, it's hard until it gets easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you owe it to us, man. And sorry for putting you on the spot, but I think you owe it to us, bro. You read so many books that you owe every author out there to take that information and turn it into Anthony's voice.
For sure. And on that note, now if I could just apply myself to my fitness in the same way that I apply myself to the reading, it would probably create another profound, or it would create a profound impact in my life. And so I'm probably, like, in terms of fitness, I'm probably at the heaviest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also the happiest I've ever been. So I'm not sure where the disconnect there is.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is kind of probably linked to a lot of the habits and a lot of the the cues and desires that you have developed, right? But for me, it's kind of, again, it's subconscious. I don't even think about it. I do go to the gym. I do go to hit the weights and all that. But my nutrition, is not rigid, or is not disciplined, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And a lot of people, that's even with our people, like, they have no problem coming in working out. So when I first started the jump from the hockey world to the adult world, right? So everyday lifestyle client like you and I, it was a matter of just getting people to enjoy fitness, right? And we feel like we've got that formula down. Like, anytime somebody comes, like yesterday, I was like caught in like so many different things in my head, and I just said, you know what, you're just going to work out, and that's it. And so I jumped into class. Like, I'm a student now. Like I don't teach anymore. I teach once in a while, but I literally go into the class and just like be like everybody else, but just be awesome, right? And
cool.
And so that was the thing, is that we tried to get people to enjoy fitness first, and we have that formula down. And now our next mission is how can we get people to enjoy eating, right? Because it's not a matter of being on a diet, right? It's just a matter of like having intent and having a purpose. And it's like, well, why are you eating this way? So for me, it's all about learning new things. Like, I love to learn new things. It's my new thing, or not. I've been doing this for a while. And so nutrition is that thing, because I never took it serious, right? Like, I would just go to the gym. I'd work out for 2 hours, and I would just, lift and train. And then, it'd be whatever, pizza or whatever afterwards. Right. And now I'm like, okay, there's so many elements to the nutrition. And it's like, I'm at a really good standpoint with my nutrition. It's like, this is the new thing that I want to teach our clients. We're going to maintain and still deliver the best workouts out there. so that people, when they come through the door, they're like, hey, this is what I came for. But now it's like, okay, what do we do with you with the other 23 and a half hours? And in my business, that's something that we've ignored for many years. It's like, you know what? Nutrition is nutrition. It's too hard to teach people. But now it's like, no, this is new to us. And this is something that's so important. Like you said, like yourself, if I can make you not look in your fridge and say, oh, I got to eat that crap again. But just like, you're like, okay, this is like not super excited about eating it, but also, you just grab the food and you just eat it. It's not like a big deal anymore. Right. So that's what happens to people is like they look and then they're comparing, the glamorous, whatever bag of chips versus like going in the fridge and grabbing a bag of celery. Right. So it's like, I actually enjoy eating celery with hummus, and I hated that. Go back, 2 months ago, and I would have never touched that. But now, because I've been challenging myself every single day to eat like this, it's hard to go back to it. Right. It's just like the first time you open up your book, it's like, it's hard to not read books now. Right. So you say you read books for how many hours a day, and that it's like, most people think you're crazy. Right. But you've just been doing it for so long that it's like, you have it engraved in your head that this is what I do. I just read at this time and I do this. Right. So when it comes to your nutrition, it's just the same. It just needs to be built into your cadence of life. And then it just needs to be created as a habit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's, it starts with kind of being aware, right? Your awareness of it. And, it is, nutrition is a science. And I mean, you don't know what you don't know. But just like, as I'm, reading, a ton of books, I mean, it's a lot of it is self-reflection as well, right? So it's getting to know yourself on kind of a deeper level, but getting to know your body, getting to know your nutrition, there's also layers and there's also, deeper levels to that as well. And so I think it's about, being, just having that natural curiosity and then also, just kind of visualizing what is it you want to achieve with your nutrition and with your fitness and then it's being resourceful. Then it's finding, people that do have that caliber of information, that have studied the science and have really, the experience and the knowledge to help you with that. Because, going through that process, you can go to the gym, you could, eat pick up a book that tells you what to eat or whatnot. But that can take you so far. I mean, I think everyone needs that little extra push to get there.
Big time. Yeah. And it's got to just start with a small step, right? Like literally I always say 1%. And so, if everybody's trying to get on diets and get on this competition and, they want to look like bodybuilders, and it's just like, no, that's so far the other way, but you could maybe get there one day, but just not right now. Just focus on eating, more broccoli. That's it. Just like put one broccoli in your mouth, right? Cut down.
Yeah, I love that 1%
portion of rice or something like. So, brothers, anything else with the viewers? We'll try and keep this around a half hour. So do you, anything else you want to share or anything you could think of?
You kind of said that the 1%, I really love that concept to kind of get 1% better, every day. And, and 1% is doable for everyone. If you think of it in that context and so, apply yourself, and get 1% better every day. I mean, that's really my message, because as you meant, that 1% will, accumulate over time and that's what helps you win at the end of the day. Small steps.
This might be a tough question for you, but when it comes to the top 3 books of recommendation, like I'm trying to think about my top 3 books that I would recommend to people. And one of them is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's something, so if they look him up, I forgot what the book is called, but he's one author. I don't really know the book titles, but I know I go by the author, right? And he would be one guy. And then another one would be by Charles Digsby, or and it's something about habits. That would be my number 2. And
Mm-hmm.
then number 3 would be The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That would be my top 3. So people were looking for a book that they could be entertained and so they could learn a whole lot about life. One is about your brain, right? About who you think you are. The second one is about the habits that you create. And then the third one is about living your best life. Now, what are your top 3 book recommendations?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. But 3 immediately came to mind when you asked me that question. And I think the first one would be the 5 a.m. Club
Okay.
by Robin Sharma.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because those hours in the morning, your morning routine is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
And what you do in those few hours, I mean, is can make a significant impact on you, and your growth will just explode in those hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so 5 a.m. Club, Robin Sharma, and for me, it's The Law of Success, number 2 by Napoleon Hill. It's a series of books within, but just all of the success principles, from Napoleon Hill's, philosophy which is still relevant today, even though the book was written in the 1920s.
It's insane.
So The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And the third book that I think comes to mind for me is just the leadership books by John Maxwell. It's I believe everyone is a leader, and developing those leadership qualities within yourself is extremely important. Step outside of your comfort zone, and do things that you feel. When you're uncomfortable doing something, that just means you're growing and you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're growing, you're learning, you'll lead better, faster, and stronger. So
big time.
Those are my 3. Those are my 3 book recommendations.
Yeah, those are some. Robin Sharma is like a new school leader kind of thing, and then you got all the way back to John Maxwell, who brings it back. Like my first 2 guys is Brian Tracy and John Maxwell, right?
Yeah.
Started with Brian Tracy, Eat the Frog, and all his good
stuff.
stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you're bringing it from the past all the way to the present. So that's it, Anthony, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for being online here with me and my fans, or my viewers. I'm not sure what they're called, my people. And so that's it, everybody. We want to see you get 1% better. We want to see you be the best version of you. And we want to see you on the blue.
Thanks, RJ.
Done. Yeah. Nice. That was good. I wish I knew how to get us on Facebook. So I'm gonna have to take this and